Hey everybody. So with a rise in interest rates, I want to talk to you a little bit about what you can do to differentiate yourself in today's market. And I'm excited here. Welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milia. I'm, of course, your host, Matt Milia, and I'm super excited here to introduce a superstar who's going to help you guys with he's going to help you with your marketing, your branding, and really how to get yourself out there, how to establish yourself. But before we go too deep into that, I'm first going to cue my intro.
Welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milia. I'm your host, Matt Milia, and in this podcast, we'll talk about the real, raw, uncut business success secrets you won't find anywhere else. Follow my journey from entry level to CEO. We discuss real actionable items you can plug into your business right away. To subscribe to our weekly top tips, you can go to www.mattpodcast.com and join our community of elite high-level performers. And if you're interested in our inside sales company, you can go to www.appointmentstoday.com to jump on a free strategy call. And now, stay tuned for our podcast.
All right, we got the Matt M connection here, which is actually it's kind of funny. I literally put that together as we were going through this. We both have the same initials. But welcome to the show, Matt, and really pumped to have you on.
Awesome, Matt. Thanks. It's great to be here today.
Absolutely. Well, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, if you would.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been in the real estate mortgage marketing space since 2011. The funny story that I tell on every podcast is I finished school, Michigan State, go green, with a digital marketing degree. But unfortunately, I finished at the middle to end of the Great Recession. Remember when all of you realtors and mortgage lenders screwed up the economy so bad that there were no jobs out there for people like me who were graduating college? So by some weird twisted fate of luck, I applied for 200, maybe more jobs. And the only company that called me back was a mortgage company. Wow. So how's that for irony? So I got a great job off of this mortgage company, Treadstar Mortgage, same company I'm at today. And they said, hey, could you help us with our marketing? Let's do some digital stuff. Facebook was still new at that point on the business marketing side. Instagram wasn't really even a thing. Twitter is there. Now it's really not. Who knows what Elon's doing every day. And so I got to work. And the job was to get more leads, very basic goal. And so after we were able to get our SEO doing well and our social media ads doing well, I said, what's next? I want some progression here. So they said, hey, there are these people called realtors and lenders. And if you can help them with their marketing, then we make more money also. And I said, well, that sounds cool. So I would start going to realtors and lenders, and it started with all digital stuff because that's what I was familiar with. And I said, hey, try this on Facebook. Hey, try this on Google. Hey, try this on YouTube. Hey, there's this new site out there called, Foursquare. Try that. And we'd come up with these strategies, and people would start getting business, and then they would like us more, and then they would call us, and then they'd want to work with us. So it got really fun. And then a couple of years ago, I took all of that advice and I put that all together into a book. We sell the book on Amazon. It's called TAG, the Tangible Action Guide for Real Estate Marketing. It's #1 on Amazon for a little bit, so that was super exciting. But in general, yeah, I've been doing real estate marketing for the past 12 years, and it's the best job ever. My wife usually comments that I don't have a real job, which, we have a nice house, so who knows?
That's awesome. Well, so you're doing now, you're working, of course, on the mortgage side,
yeah,
and doing the marketing there. What's kind of you can't really necessarily market interest rates. So, you can and you can't, but what's kind of the baseline of, so if you're a loan officer and you're just getting into the business, what are some things that you could really focus on marketing in your opinion?
Absolutely. So, it changes all the time, right? A year and a half ago, a loan officer could literally call anyone out of the phone book that owned a home and help them refinance and save money, right? That's why your big mortgage companies out there were hiring 19-year-olds to cold call every human in the United States.
Right.
Everyone could make money. Everyone could save money. You could make money. It was a win. Well, right now we're at a place where anyone that owns a home that's had it for more than a year can't really refinance, or at least it doesn't make a ton of sense to. So that form of marketing went away. But right now, I think the huge opportunity is that inventory in the US is way up, right? So in most markets, housing inventory is double what it was 6 months ago because interest rates went up a little bit. So when you had all these buyers previously, that had the money, they had good jobs, all that, but they couldn't get an offer accepted on a home because there were 30 other offers, and all the people moving from California with tech money were scooping up all these homes with cash. That has kind of slowed down. So now, because of interest rates, people that are already homeowners aren't in there competing as much because of the volatility. So first-time home buyers and people who just want to get out of renting are really scooping in right now and snatching up some properties and actually finally getting offers accepted. So if I was a lender right now, I would be reaching out to all of the leads my company had in the last 3 years who just couldn't get houses, couldn't get offers accepted. That's, I think, the biggest opportunity right now. Second one is probably still going to be refinance, but it's going to be based on home equity. So people that are in your database, run a CMA for them. I know you're not the realtor, but partner with your favorite realtor on this. Run CMAs for every single client you have to let them know how much equity they have. You are still going to have a certain number of people that are either going to do a cash out refi with you or take out a HELOC because they need the money to do a home renovation project. Very few people out there. I mean, no one wants to go from a 4% rate to a 6%. However, most people that need to do a home renovation because they're having another kid, because they don't want to move, they don't have $150,000 to do that, and a mortgage product is their only option. So I think that is still another big opportunity, but you're also offering value, right? So you're offering them a CMA, you're telling them what their home is worth, you're educating them, and that also sets you up to just be top of mind. That way, maybe one of their friends or family's buying a house, they can refer them to you. There's a lot of reasons it's a good strategy.
Comparative market analysis, by the way, for everyone who's watching that doesn't know what CMA is. And it's really good because that gives you an idea as to how much houses are going for. So then that way you know what you've got in the house equity wise. I mean, that's all really, really great advice. And by the way, for everyone that's watching, if you want more information, you want to maybe blow up your marketing. By the way, do you help people outside of your company with marketing, or is that not something you do? I was curious on that.
I have another business. It's called Maltese Marketing. We build websites. We do things like that. So
awesome.
We don't take on every client, but if we can't help you, we will refer you to someone amazing who works at the same quality we do.
So if someone was outside of and they were a different mortgage company, you could potentially point them in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, yeah. So as far as everything goes, I mean, with your, you've been in this now. Well, you've been in this for almost, let's see, going on what, 11 years, 12 years?
Yep.
Yeah.
Almost 12. Yeah.
Almost 12. Wow. So I got into mortgages in 2004. I was actually one of the guys that was on the outbound telemarketing calling side. And I actually started calling we were calling out of the phone book. And it was funny because we were getting people that had like 9%, 10% interest rates, some 8%. We're like, hey, we can get you down to 7.1. And literally these people were jumping for joy to get these rates. And it's just funny how much, things have changed, but then kind of things change, but still kind of the same way. So, I mean, in your opinion, what do you think are some of the differences? I mean, of course, I know you probably weren't in the business during the 2008 crash, but I mean, what do you think are some of the differences? Because I know a lot of people right now are projecting, the market's going to crash, or, you hear some that say it's going to crash. Some say that we're in, great position. What are your thoughts? I'm curious.
Yeah. Well, I think the number one thing, and I've been saying this for a little bit, if you are in real estate or lending, your number one job is to be positive, because the media, all they need to do is to get clicks. So their job is to be negative because negativity sells more. The more we can all band together, the million realtors out there, the million lenders out there, the more that we can band together to spread the positive truth out there and the things that are still good in the housing market, the better we can all be. Right? They say that even in the Great Depression, the problem was not that the Depression affected most people. The problem is that the media put that out there, and then everyone was scared and stopped spending money. This is what's happening right now. It makes no sense that my beautiful home that I live in, that my mortgage, I'll put it out there. I will tell you my mortgage payment on this call. It's $2,400 a month for a beautiful 5-bedroom house in a nice school district, all that stuff. My rental properties that are in a different school district that I paid $100,000 for, my tenants are basically paying that same price. Rent does not make sense in so many markets. Now, it does in some markets, but if you can get that positive message out there of what kind of wealth someone could build through home ownership, it's still a great time to buy. And the interesting thing is that we know that rent is going to continue to go up. We know that housing prices are going to continue to go up. As long as you think you're going to stay for another 2 years, I can't see a downside. It's all about personal confidence, right? If you're confident in your ability to generate the same or more income over the next couple of years, buying a house is totally the right decision. And I think that's the message that professionals in our industry need to continue to push out there.
I love it. And it's funny because I can't even tell you how many times, I mean, even for me and where I'm at with me being I'm in Tampa area. And I mean, the houses, I mean, we bought in 2021. And I mean, if we were to sell, I mean, we'd be looking at probably somewhere between 150 and $200,000 in equity. That's how fast the market went up here in literally less than 2 years. It's insane. So there's so many opportunities now. And I think that, the one thing that I'm very excited that you brought up was talking about positivity. I actually reached out. I feel terrible even bringing this up, but I reached out to an agent, and I'll keep their name out, but I reached out and they posted something about, rates are at an all-time high, or they said something about mortgage applications are at an all-time low. This was like a couple months ago. And I'm like, hey man, you know, it's not my business. And I promise you, I'm not one to generally give out unsolicited advice. That's not something I'd be presenting to my audience. I'm just saying you may want to reconsider that. And of course, like, oh, well, I just want to educate them. Okay, you do what you want to do. But it's not the education that you want to put out there. So I'm 100% with you on that. And I'm also of the belief system that, back when in 2008, we were in a financial crisis. I mean, that was really what the big difference was.
Right.
Lenders had horrible loans. There were predatory practices. And I hate to use the word predatory, but I mean, in some cases, I mean, there were some really horrendous practices. I mean, you had these pay option arms that were like 1.25% interest. And then
which are coming back, which is crazy.
Which I'm not surprised at, because now there's so much more consumer knowledge and education that,
Right.
If you tell people, hey, listen, this is what this was, this is what it did. I mean, they were even doing, I remember doing loans that were 125% loan to value. I mean,
Yeah.
I was in mortgage as well. So I totally, I look at these things, I'm like, it's like the wild, wild west. It's a totally different world. But now we have all that knowledge from the past. And plus, a lot of people are coming in with tons of equity. I mean, they've got equity in their house. That makes a world of difference.
And people have jobs. That's the big thing.
People have jobs. Yes.
I mean, when people have jobs and they have equity, there's no crash, there's no bubble. The market might go up a couple percent, it might go down a couple percent. But I mean, in reality, for the market to crash, the entire world economy is going to be crashing, and real estate is going to be the least of the concerns out there.
Right. And
COVID should have done that, right? Like COVID should have crashed the world economy, but the stock market doubled,
which is amazing. It really is.
And if you
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I just think one of the fascinating things out there is that customers respond really well to storytelling. So if you, as a lender or a real estate agent, can simply figure out a positive story of one of the clients that you've already helped, if you can tell that story, other people out there will relate to it because it sounds like their situation. And obviously, we all have different situations out there, but we're going to relate to something. So if you can come up with a story to tell based on every client that you helped, that's going to relate to a different customer every time. And I think that is your best possible marketing opportunity right now.
I love that. And it's true. I mean, there are so many different avenues for marketing. And right now, I mean, you've got, you said SEO earlier, obviously pay-per-click. Where would you say, if you don't mind me asking, I mean, of course, I know you could probably go so deep into this part of it, but where do you guys get a majority of your leads from, would you say? I mean, is it mostly SEO? Is it pay-per-click? I mean, where would you say?
Honestly, at our mortgage company, it's realtors and past clients. So we invest heavily in our past clients. Mm-hmm. Almost all of our 10 to 20,000 past clients are hearing from us on a monthly basis. They're going to get at least one personal touch per year. They're going to get invited to an event of some kind. They're going to get an email every other month, a text once or twice a year. They're seeing us on social media, not just like mortgage stuff, like they're seeing fun stuff. Like when our office has a new puppy, we're sharing that. They're very connected with our lives because we're connecting with them on more than just mortgages. So that's probably number one. Number two is real estate agents. We really, really invest in real estate agents. If you're a realtor out there anywhere around the country and you feel like you're not getting the love from your lender and you're not getting a 18 to 21 day closing, hit me up. Would love to connect you with someone. But in general, like those are our two biggest things. Like PPC, online leads, I'm very good at generating them, and we do generate leads like that. We get a couple a day. Not like we're not Quicken Loans generating 10 million online leads a day when there's only 2,000 closings every week in the country. I mean, we're not
Right.
that. But realistically, online leads right now, you can get them, but the issue I find with them is that there's still low inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And most online leads don't ever convert. Like I think like 4% of online leads end up converting in a 6-month time frame. So you might make your money back on buying those online leads, but the amount of time you have to put in to convert them is oftentimes really tough. So I think the difference is if those online leads are local, you're in the city, they're in the city, you can convert those at a much higher rate. You can get referrals from them. If you're looking at it from the long term of like building your database, I think online leads are really great. But the day-to-day can be challenging depending on the type of business that you do. That being said, there is a time for online leads, and that's if you're a new person in the business that's really trying to grow your database. An online lead that you convert in the first year of your career is worth 50 times more than an online lead that you convert in the 10th year of your career. And that's because of the snowball effect.
Oh, big time. And that's it's funny you should say it, because I mean, for our inside sales company, so I mean, I always I promote online leads.
Yeah.
I also promote. I'm one of the strange ones. I also promote cold calling because I've seen all ends of the spectrum. And with cold calling, I always tell people, listen, it's a long-term game, but you got to remember that a lot of times where you might be marketing and spending your time and your attention and your focus, a lot of people have pulled out or have gone a different direction. And I see this market going very, very cyclical. And I think some markets are going to see, of course, with the increase in inventory, they're going to see a couple more homes start expiring because, they weren't before. I mean, and a lot of the times I think it's more or less a correction where, for example, a house that, maybe 4 years ago was worth 350. Now, instead of it being worth 500, now it's gone back down to like 410, 405, where a couple, 6 months ago, they would have tried to sell that for 500,000. You're still getting a massive return. It's just you have to price it accordingly with the market. Because I don't know if you've seen a lot of this. I haven't really seen a huge drop off in price. I've just seen more of a correction and more of a realization that what you were trying to sell the house for in that upper echelon, it needs to be a little bit more reasonable. And I think the ones that aren't reasonable, we're going to start to see some of those expireds, and it's just going to restart the normal process. But I don't see a crash. I don't. I mean, as crazy as, and I know other people think differently, I don't see any crash. I think that we're just going to see a stabilization, some correction, and I think the market's going to keep going as is. And now, like you said earlier, the people that were in the game before that put offers in, but they couldn't get accepted, those are the people that are really going to win.
Right. Huge. And I think a huge opportunity for real estate agents is those properties that have now been on the market for 10 days or more. If you're a lender, you can use this too. But if you are a realtor or lender and you see a property near you that's been on the market for 10 days or more, it is your opportunity to figure out a way to sell that property to a client that you already have that's pre-approved. And what I mean by that is that you need to show them the future of what that property could be for them and their family. And that is how to get a sale in this market. I mean, the last year inventory has been so tight, it takes a lot of creativity. But if you have a property that you will get an offer accepted on, that is where you want to spend all of your time and effort.
And I love the fact too that you talk about because people look at mortgages, they look at real estate, and they think transactional sale. And then, I believe I got this stat from Coach Burt, who's actually a phenomenal coach within the industry. He said that 98% of all realtors, and I think it's also loan officers as well, do not follow up after the transaction, after their closing, which blows my mind because from what a lot of the stats have said, each person sells each person in their lifetime generally buys between 4 and 7 homes. And if each person buys between 4 and 7 homes, how many of those do you want to be a part of?
7.
All of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. 7. You want to be a part of all of them. So the only way to be a part of all of them is to actually form a relationship with them and reach out. And it blows my mind as to how many people don't. And then of course, once they get the sale, once it closes, then they're okay, I did my job, and then you never hear from them again. What you guys are doing a lot of events. Would you mind sharing some examples of different events that you guys do that
Sure.
are not mortgage related?
Yeah, all of them. Just kidding. No, we will do an educational event every now and then. But yeah, like last year we did a wine event.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
we had a sommelier, and we
Hmm.
had her on Zoom. I was with her in person, thankfully.
Yeah,
But we had a sommelier walk us through 4 different wines. So we emailed all of our clients that were interested in doing it. We emailed them a link to all the wines for some of our better clients that were in the area that we could help out. We flat out had interns drop off 2 or 3 of the wines to them
that's
and told them,
awesome.
"Hey, bring a friend to your house. You're not going to finish this bottle with just the 2 of you."
Right.
And so we were able to get our company's name in front of not only our best clients but some of their best friends. So I mean, plus like I got to have a great time because I was at work drinking wine with a som, and that was fun for me.
Yeah,
Um,
of course.
but like one of our other lenders is a mom in town, right? She has 3 little kids, so she rents out a pavilion at a park. She puts a temporary fence up to fence it out. She has drinks, she has food, she has games, and parents come with their kids. The kids all play. There's a face paint station, and she gets to be in front of all of her favorite clients while her family's having fun. They had
I
400
love
people to
that.
that event last year. I think her and another lender split it. It was like $3,000 a person, and that included a live band and food. So it's
Wow.
just a great way to get in front of people. And then shamelessly, right? They had a sign-in sheet, and one of the questions on the sign-in sheet was, "Do you plan to buy, sell, or invest in the next year?"
Why
Out of
not?
400
Yeah.
people, 17 said yes. So 17
Wow.
said yes. 5 actually closed. That's 5 extra closings that paid for more than the cost of the event.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
That
like
is awesome.
more of them probably ended up using her, but that was what we were able to physically track based on what we.
Yeah. Well, so one of the coolest events that I was actually just recently a part of, and it's funny because so I've made a lot of friends with just within the real estate community
Yeah.
down here. Started going to a lot of different like Florida area mortgage professionals. FAMP is what's I'm actually a part of their organization, and they've got a really good group of real estate, or not real estate, but loan officers there. Of
Yeah.
course, access to realtors as well. I met a really amazing realtor through KW,
Okay.
and he was like, "Hey, you're a great guy. You're good friends with my other agent. You've helped us out. You want to come to one of our appreciation events?" I'm like, "Okay," and I'll tell you what, that was one of the coolest events.
Yeah.
We and it stuck with me. We went to a local movie theater. They rented out part of the theater, so they rented out like one of the showings. The showing was like Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, and I mean, I can't even tell you the last time I went to a movie before that, but I'm like, all right, why not try something new? They gave you like you had a free tub of popcorn, and then they gave you like this big bag of candy, and I mean, it was just so cool. I mean, it was one of those events where, and it wasn't salesy or gimmicky. It's like, hey, I'm with this company and I'm with the title company. I'm a real estate agent. There was a few people that all threw it together, and then that was pretty much it. Then they just showed it, and it's just a really, really cool event. And
Well, I think that's a big thing is like your event needs to be client focused and focused on their entertainment and their fun. And it can't
right,
be all a sales pitch to you. And I think I've seen too many real estate events where it's like, "Oh, come to my first time homebuyer seminar." That's
right,
good. It's better
yeah,
than doing nothing, but like
right.
people want to be entertained at the same time that they're educated.
So true. And I think that that's where sometimes people just miss the boat. But
Yeah.
well, for everyone that's watching, guys, again, check out treadstonemortgage.com. Definitely highly recommend. And Matt, I mean, I know we went through a lot of stuff. What are some things that you want to hammer on before we close it down?
Yeah, the big one is just be consistent. I would say pick 3 strategies, maybe from the stuff we talked about today.
Hmm.
Enter it right now into your calendar as a time block. Like say, hey,
I love
I am
that.
going to do one client event and I'm going to plan it next Friday at 3. Who cares when the event is, but you're going to put the time in your calendar and plan it. Or, hey, I'm going to start reaching out personally to 5 past customers or leads a day. And that's just time blocked in your calendar. If you can come up with the strategies first, and then second, just add them to your calendar, they will happen. You will get the results, etc. Then if you want more tips, like if you're a lender and you want more tips for how to like do better stuff with your realtors, check out my book on Amazon, tag the Tangible Action Guide for Real Estate Marketing. If you're a realtor, check it out too. But yeah, in general, just keep a plan and stick with it.
I'd love to go one step further on that because that plan is brilliant. One thing as well that if you could actually plug this part in, I also think it's important to get an accountability partner,
Yes.
someone that will literally hold your hand because you're giving people the action steps. The problem, and this is the thing, a lot of people I talk to, the one thing they say, oh, I need more money. You don't need more money. You need more people. You need more people because people have your money. That's what it boils down to.
Absolutely.
When you connect the people will get you your money. Just like you said, you had 400 and some odd people at the event. 17 people took you up on putting their information down about buying or selling a home. 5 of them actually took action.
Right.
Why did that happen? Because you knew 400 people. So when you know all those people, they're going to eventually take action. But the goal is to get them to take action. But you've got to have someone to help you push the ball forward.
Absolutely.
An accountability partner, I think, a huge game changer, pairing all that up.
Accountability partners are like the second chapter in my book. It basically says you got a time block and you need an accountability partner so that you actually do it. Like, hey, Matt, like, let's make a bet. If we're not accountable to each other, you have to donate money to the charity that you hate the most. Like, let's come up with a bet here. But in general, like, you need a person that you can really, talk things through. When they're working well, share it. When they're not working well, let's brainstorm it. But in general, who's going to hold you accountable?
And it's such a game changer because I can't even tell you, when I would go to the gym and I would go by myself, I mean, I'd show up there maybe once, twice a week. Then when I've got someone that's actually there, like, hey, we're blocked out at this time. I was there 4 or 5 times, a week, committed to hit it at this time, do these workouts, follow this routine. And it's the same thing with business. But so many of us, and to be totally frank, I mean, and I hate to, just putting it out there. Mortgage was so much easier a year ago, 2 years ago, because you were literally just sitting there taking down the orders. Oh, someone wants to sell their house. Someone wants to refinance. Now you got to go out there and look for it. You got to go after and, shake some trees. And really that's what it takes. So your book, by the way, again, I want to make sure you put that in there. What was the name of your book?
TAG, T-A-G, like the game, and then Tangible Action Guide for Real Estate Marketing.
I love it. And they can find that on Amazon?
Amazon's the place to be.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will make sure that we get that added into our comments. We'll put that in. And definitely, Matt, it was great meeting you. And for everyone that's watching, see you guys same time, same channel next week. Matt, thanks again for jumping on.
Take it easy.
All right, you too. See ya.